Okay, I think we're now live. Hello, everybody, and welcome. Welcome as well, Maggie, who joined 30 seconds ago. Hello, everybody, Ariel and Susan, Samar, and Maggie. This is Antonio, broadcasting from Leeds. Despite the appearances, I'm not in a spaceship. And today we have a very special session. Because this weekend we are celebrating the annual global gathering of 100,000 Poets for Change. So we have a strong tradition of 100,000 Poets for Change. Here is our event advertised in the global website of this organization, which supports social justice, environmental justice, and it's an organization of poets, of artists committed to environmental, social, human values. So you can visit it here in Transform. 100,000 Poets for Change. You can Google it and read our manifesto, and I say our because we are part of this initiative. So we are talking about a call for serious social, environmental, and political change. A more democratic world, a world where we look after the environment and we defend peace and sustainability. And we have a long tradition of participating in 100,000 Poets for Change. Apart from this event, we have last year's as well. In 2018, we did it, sorry, in 2018, we did it in as a joint venture with our friends in Word Club. In previous years, I think this is the second time we took part into it. When we were in Inkwell. I'm just doing a little bit of history of our involvement in 100,000 Poets for Change. So this is the poster of the 4th of October. And as part of this initiative of 100,000 Poets for Change in Leeds, we have even published 2 anthologies. So if you go to issuu.com and search for Transforming with Poetry, you will see that we have 2 anthologies, one 2016, one 2017, that can be easily read, easily accessed in the form of ebooks or e-magazines. So as you can appreciate, this took a lot of work, but look, some of the people here today, Samar and Rhodes, are here with contributions to this amazing anthology. Let me show you the editor's preface, peace and solidarity with all of you, and the poems that we published. So I recommend you to visit it. They are really good anthologies. They were not really edited. It was just a very light touch curation to ensure that the poems were organized in a meaningful way, but there was nobody excluded from the publication, because in the internet you don't have to pay for number of pages. So everybody who wanted to contribute, everybody who wanted to write and publish did so, contrary to what happens usually in other publications. And I recommend you reading these anthologies. They have really good poems, really interesting work. So the other thing I wanted to talk about, apart from 100,000 Poets for Change, and we greet everybody in the rest of the world, there are people in more than 100 countries celebrating events like this weekend. Apart from that, I wanted to say that we have started a new set of events as part of Transforming with Poetry. You know, Samar and Mike are driving forces here with Ariel, and they have started partnerships with other people, and we got invited to organize things. And one of them is Found in Translation. And I can see that some of you are going to be there already. Found in Translation will have two events in October. The first one is on the 8th of October. We will advertise this in our Facebook page, 8th of October. And you need to register, online. The reason is that we need to know who is going to be in the event, what languages they speak, or what they do as writers, translators, readers, or anything, so that we can organize the groups of people and offer something engaging, literary challenging, but at the same time enjoyable. And our plan is to publish with the permission of the participants, the translations of all the work that we will be reviewing, commenting, working on the day of the workshop. I mean, it's called a workshop, but it could be called anything else. So Samar, Mike, Ariel, and myself will be there with our different languages trying to organize the work, but it will be the work of the people who participate. We're just trying to help and channel rather than be authors there. So that's on the 8th of October, 7 p.m., but you need to fill in a form, saying who you are and what languages you speak. And if you don't speak any other language apart from your first language, that's fine. That's fine, because there will not be things that are challenging linguistically. They may be challenging from a literary point of view, aesthetically, but there is no intention of putting people under pressure. And there will be texts and inputs that will be manageable with our support. The other event of Found in Translation is something organized. By the way, this is Found in Translation. This one is organized as well by, co-organized by Platformer 6. Let me see if I can find here Platformer 6. Well, I can't find the website at the moment. I'll show it later. But I'm very grateful that Platformer 6 is actually including this event in their Yorkshire events. And the other organization that contacted, not me, but a lot of different people from across the world, this is our webpage, Found in Translation, within poesiaindignada.com, Transforming with Poetry. And the other one is Intercultured Festival, Intercultured Festival, organized in Bradford, is offering another event that we call Found in Translation, and there will be lots of different poets participating. It's an event that is free of charge, but there is an Eventbrite page to sign up, So I recommend you those two events. And then our following open mic event will be on the 19th of November. But we're trying to diversify what we do. And also, as I said, there are people who want to do different things from what I typically do. And that's great. That's great. I'm very thankful to Sam, to Mike, and to Ariel for bringing these things into Transforming with Poetry. And also, I'd like to invite everybody else who is part of this community, to come up with ideas like this, and join Transforming with Poetry with other initiatives. And without further ado, I'm going to stop sharing because today we're not going to have a lot of things on the screen. It's going to be ourselves looking at the camera and talking to you mainly. So as explained before, we have Susan Maccartney, who will be first, then joined by Maggie Hall, Robin Ouzman Hislop. He's not here, sadly, because he had to go to hospital. He sends his apologies, but he sent me some videos, a couple of videos that we're going to play. And then we have Rhodes, Ariel, Samar, and myself, okay? So thank you very much, everybody, from being here. This is Transforming with Poetry, and we give way to Susan. Hello, Susan.
Hello, thank you for having me. I've read this one before, but it fits with the theme. And it's written for my granddad, who was a miner, and it's called If Not for Coal. If not for coal, he wouldn't have crawled on hands and knees. He wouldn't have clawed at those thin seams. Pick in hand, lamp in the other, hewing and filling the tubs to pass to a brother, one, then another and another. He wouldn't have loosened coal from its bed, those small dark nuggets stained with red, head low, back bent, but for coal, a life soon spent. If not for coal, he would have worked in the light. He would have stood upright. He wouldn't have known his lungs were black, like the coals, the hearth, and the fire back. If not for coal, he wouldn't have breathed in the dust. For hewers like him, is there any justice for the cough, the shortness of breath, the pain, the early death? No ease from this terrible disease, if not for coal and pneumoconiosis, that terrible creeping necrosis. He'd have made old bones. He'd have watched us grow, if not for coal. Thank you. This one is quite sad. I've been researching the munitionettes, the girls and women in the First World War who filled with shells. Now, the thing is, they didn't know that they were being poisoned by TNT because they weren't told, and they were lied to, and they couldn't leave because they wouldn't have got a leaving certificate and been able to get another job, so they were trapped. So this is for Maud, who died in the workhouse hospital in Sheffield. They bleed, but insufficient evidence. The odour of carbolic taints the air, but the sheets are crisp, cool, comforting her skin. Maud's face is pale, bloodless, with only a tinge of the yellow remaining on her skin. Her brow is fevered. Does she know it's close? Her sister holds her hand, squeezes, whispers, "It's going to be all right, Maudie." The lie sears her lips. The woman in the bed smiles. She knows it's a lie. She lies very still. But is Maud thinking of the good times, the times they travelled and worked, the fairs and the feasts, the excitement of the rides, the boxing booths, the dancing girls, the noise of the marching bands, the thrill of the amusement, the jostle of the crowds? Does she smell the spun sugar and toffee apples? Or is she remembering that other place? The TNT on her skin, in her lungs, as she filled those shells, doing her bit, not in the trenches, but in the munitions factory. The sisters hold hands, silently, barely breathing, sharing happy memories, sharing sorrows, sharing secrets. The woman in the bed closes her eyes as if in sleep. A red stain spreads from between her scarecrow thighs. The final flow, the last ebb of life, she's unable to stem. The odour of copper seizes dominion. Her sister bleeds bitter tears, is more remembering her own little home in Holbeck, the crowded trains to work, the cotton trousers, coats, caps, clogs, the long shifts, the patronising comments from the men on the train, working conditions close to hell. Oh, remembering making friends with the girls at the table, trips to Leeds and spending their tanners in Briggate, a cuppa and a cake at the Cardoma Cafe. Is she remembering that there were some good times? I expect she is, for she is smiling, still smiling, still, very still. And the coroner's report said that Maud died from hemorrhage. She lost her baby, which may have been due to TNT poisoning, but there was insufficient evidence. And Maud died in the workhouse hospital. Thank you. Right. Something a little bit less sad. And it's a two-parter. And you might recognise the original poem on which it's based. And it's in two parts, as I said. The Piper, part one. Every rat, a dog, and even a cat with a pit, pit, pat followed the toot of the piper's flute. Every rat, every mouse from each Hamlin house, they all followed the toot of the piper's flute. With a paddy pad of paws and a scrat scrat of claws, they followed the toot of the piper's flute. Every child, every tot with a skip and a trot followed the toot of the piper's flute. And with a do, re, mi and a sol, la, ti and a ting-a-ling-a-ling and a ding-dong ding and a hoot and a toot, they skipped to the beat at the piper's feet. And in the morn, all of them gone. Every boy, every girl, every rat, the dog and the cat had answered the toot of the piper's flute. The Family, part two. Will you read us a story before bedtime, Papa? The children ran around his legs, pulling at his sleeves. Their father's tales enthralled and weaved magic, as did his music. Of course, he smiled at his large brood, hot chocolates and marshmallows, I think, and his wife bustled in the kitchen with the cocoa and milk, her heart bursting with happiness at her bounty. He knew he shouldn't have done it. He'd begged them to reconsider, but they brought it on themselves by refusing to pay. After all, he was entitled to be reimbursed for his hard work, but they were heartless, adamant. They left him no choice. His wife had been heartbroken by their childlessness, and he told her he'd rescued the children from a cruel orphanage. She believed him. The Pied Piper counted his blessings, 15 children, a family, his family. Life was complete. He stroked the dog and the cat lying at his feet, then picked up his flute and began to play. Thank you. Is that it now, Tony? Have I done enough now?
I think it's been wonderful.
Have I done my 10 minutes?
Yeah, I think so. But I mean, if you want to read another one, it's fine. But
I've got a short one.
Okay, go for it. Go for it.
And it's called Poem on the Bus. Today I'm taking my poem on the bus for a day out, for a play out, some transportation to bring me inspiration, a buzz of onomatopoeia, a soup song, a speck, a spear of sibilance, a metaphor to make it dance. Recall, reclaim, reiterate and repeat some reaffirmation of the joy of alliteration. Images powerful and strong, dialogue to move my poem along, characters given a voice, characters who can rejoice to have their say, could bring my poem a much needed cachet. Now it would be senseless to ignore the senses, the sound of hope, the touch of joy, the smell of happiness, a taste of high and a squint of dreams. It seems my poem enjoyed its stay away, and so it seems did I. Tomorrow, if it doesn't rain, I'll treat my poem to the train. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you. Perhaps if you come one day to Meanwood with your poem, I can put it in my backpack and take it round in the bicycle, you know.
That's a good idea. Thank you.
So that we can try many means of transportation. Thank you so much, Susan.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. So Maggie, hello. How are you?
Hi Antonio. I'm everyone. I'm good. I actually woke up at 3:50 a.m. so I've just been trying to snap my mind into the present. Susan, that was wonderful.
Yeah. For everybody's information,
okay.
Maggie's in Australia.
Yes, that's right. I am. Okay. I did send a video to be played, but that hasn't come through. Or
if you give me 30 seconds and say something about the video, I will find it.
No, that. Oh no, that's fine. Don't worry.
No,
if
honestly,
it's not ready, I'll just read.
No. Hang on,
that's fine.
Let me see.
No, leave it for next time. It's good.
Are you sure?
I'll just start reading. Yeah,
okay.
yeah, no, it's fine. I'll just start reading.
Okay.
Next time.
Okay, sorry,
okay.
I cannot see it here, so sorry.
Oh, yeah, no, that's fine. Okay, so I'm just going to read what I was originally going to read. I actually lost the manuscript, so I'm going to do something else anyway, so it's sort of funny how that worked. Okay. On day 1, God made the light. On day 2, the sky. On day 3, tall trees and the earth. Day 4, God made the stars. And for the sun a hidden moon. On day 5, fish for the birds. And on the 6th day the animals speak. Tell me, little fly in this ball of blue and green, when will God send the great flood to wash this land clean? And an ark built with one window and a door to let in the sea. When the ark is full, who will be set free? And when the rain comes to water the trees, said the dove to the fly, what can you see? As fly turned to the dove, Jacob had a dream, to climb the ladder as a curious white cat. It was then that Jacob turned back. When God proclaimed from salt to sea, Jacob, throw it back. The temple doors open wide, watch while the strings play. To the harp lost far away, watch the beautiful shining, 2 times in one day. For a bale of golden hay, come and see with open eyes, come and see the room, and watch as the lake opens. A foxtrot led the quickstep to kissing mountains, as stone walls echo your name. A blue gum in quiet pain, breaking dusk to day, falling limbs turn to decay. Left alone in palindrome, cornucopian recursions of silver bone. to die in your arms by the fragmented horn, to taste the honey of ripened grief, to drink cheap red wine as a fool in a dream. Are you as sad as I am poor? Could it be an enchantress in black and white, or the briar tuck bearing thorns? Of love, as love watches from afar, hidden in a jar, forgiveness bends the crow into a kiss evermore. I touch the delicate petals with my mind, make a change and watch the whole world wonder if you're coming, if you're going, if you're going to come round and round and round. Watch the eagle dove in prayer. Do you know what is real? Can you sit aside and pretend that you're healed? When the west wind is blowing and the south disappears, do you run to the east or stand back to a north breeze? Howling at the handsome beast who watches from afar. Is this the moment of the feast when the cookie took out the jar? Don't stay before the light has come. Don't pray before the dark is gone. Bend your mind and hook the beast as each synapsis falls into place. Yearning for their final rest, come and hear the music sing. Come and watch the piper lost in a rhyme, guarded by the lonesome king. Welcome to the church, welcome as the crowd repeats. The search is on for the crow with no feet. There is a pig in the black hole, side one reads. The hidden peppercorn. Automatic memories played to a vinyl beat, and the crow by his window sill watches as the children speak. Don't lose your head to 7 brothers for 7 sins. Pride to sever the soul from grace, to play against a ghost, to cry to the crowds for release. Without care does the 6th envy claim. Said the fairy queen to the sloth, why do you walk in vain? It's raining stars by Chernobyl's nest. I found a silver badge by the golden crest. It's raining stars by the silver snow, and the last warning came from the first crow. I have just a teeny bit more if you'd like it. My mouth's starting to stick together because I drank wine last night.
Please go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah, continue. I love this repurposing of different stories. Go on.
To inspire the imagination of a single mind is all I wish to do. This is the last little bit because I don't know how much more I can speak. An illusionary light shifts as centipedes quill in line. Dead air, new note, coding life. Beating drum. Do not suppose the hunting ground is clear. There will be blood as night births the next luminary sky. Mapped out realities validate methods. Argue the story with a strong moral basis. Incorporate elements with style and grace while keeping a smile upon your face. It helps if you carry a mask just in case. I walk alone down a one-way street, only to see past, present, and future running towards me, and in turning back, find existence hiding behind the nervous tree. Okay, thank you.
Wonderful. That was wonderful.
Need my coffee.
I love your ability to write stories with little pieces from different places and this biblical framing at the beginning. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
It mostly comes from my mind. I make it clear if it's a song or a phrase from another ghost.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Maggie. It's always a pleasure. Thank you. We appreciate very much your presence. So we have now somebody I haven't announced at the beginning is my colleague Janet, colleague and friend at the University of Leeds, Janet Watson, who is going to tell us something about a festival that she's involved in. Hello, and hopefully read a poem as well. Hello, Janet. How are you?
Hi, thank you. I'm really glad I saw you. When was it? Yesterday? Day before? When was it? I can't remember.
The day before, yeah.
Day before, yeah. So you were able to tell me about this event. I'm co-director of the Centre for Endangered Languages, Cultures and Ecosystems at the University of Leeds. And what we've been holding various events throughout the pandemic over Zoom, and it's been great because it has meant that we've been able to have people from nearly 30 different countries attending these events. And one of the things that we started doing in May was having poetry and nature events, because poetry, you can get the feeling of nature and the relationship of humans with nature so much more quickly and better through poetry, I think, than other ways. And so we've held 2 events so far. We've had people from various countries, and they will read a poem. They'll create a poem, read a poem in their native language, and give a translation, either a written translation or give a summary in English of the poem. And the next event will be chaired by Mike on the 20th of October at 2 o'clock BST. And we have poets from Mexico, Western Sahara, Barbados, Uganda, Oman, the Basque Country, Jamaica and Staffordshire.
So that means we can actually advertise that event in our Facebook page of Transforming with Poetry, so that you can,
yes.
Yeah. We like to advertise it, yeah.
Could you do that? Could you ask people on the Facebook page, could you ask people to contact me for the Zoom link rather than posting the Zoom link?
Yes.
On the Facebook page, if you see what I mean.
In the Facebook page, I can post whatever text you want and the title of the event and the instruction.
Yeah, great, okay. Should I send you an email later?
Yes.
Yeah.
And do you know that you told me that you wanted to read a poem in Galician?
Yeah. This relates to our poetry workshops, because at the second one, my colleague Jose Tomilarido suggested Martin Vega. I don't know whether you can you see the book?
Martin Vega, yeah.
Martin Vega. So he's a Galician poet. He works in he works in Ireland, and he gave a few poems, and I was really struck by the way in which he read and the translations, everything. And she bought me this book, which is a bilingual book of his poems. So you've got the Galician on one page and you've got the English on the other. And I started to teach myself Galician through this.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things I really loved about his poetry was the way in which he used juxtaposition of noun phrases. So I've had to learn the verbs from elsewhere. He does have verbs, but there's a lot of juxtaposition of noun phrases. The book's called Alfeas na Lama, Jewels in the Mud. And I just had a little go at doing one. It's really short, and it's probably not particularly good. Should I read it?
Yes, go for it. Can I inform our global audience that Galician is a language of Latin origin that is very similar to Portuguese. It's closely associated with Portuguese, and there are some philologists who support the idea that Galician and Portuguese should be recognized as one language with several varieties rather than 2 different languages. this is very, very dodgy terrain because there are
This is
points of
very
view.
dodgy terrain.
Well, I think it's only fair that we inform people who are somewhere else in the world outside Europe who perhaps don't know these facts about Galician language.
Yeah, there are some people who call it Galician Portuguese.
Yeah.
Hyphenated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll read it and then translate it, or, well, anyway.
As you wish.
Non è o tempo in Rio, e a mar. Sorry? What did you say, Antonio?
Nothing. Sorry.
Okay, right, I'll start again. O tempo. Non è o tempo a Rio, e a mar. No que vemos o pasado, co presente, co futuro. Vem hoje o pasado ante dos meus olhos. Eso es.
Muito bonito. Yeah, what you see, yeah, what we see, I understood a lot of things.
Yeah.
All time, all the time, yeah, what we see.
I've been thinking about time a lot recently and how we tend to see it as something which goes from one stage to another. So this is saying time isn't a river.
Mm-hmm.
It's a sea in which we see the past and the present and the future. And today I saw the past in front of my eyes. And there's a sense of different times mixing, and there's a sense we've got some past with us and we've got some future with us.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a little one in English.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is again sort of inspired by Martin Beger's juxtaposition of noun phrases. Home. The smell of cut grass, salt on the air, my grandmother's hand cream, silky, ephemeral, elusive. Sense. That stone by the stream, now material, now vanishing, ethereal. Mist scribbling over the moor, writing the sky. That's home.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Well, I have to say that Janet and I are very close physically as well. I could stand up here and look through my window and see in the distance your house, as opposed to Ariel, who is in Mexico, and Maggie, who is in Australia. Thank you so much, Janet. I'll publish that information about the wonderful event that you are organizing. Okay.
Lovely, thank you.
Okay, so now we're going to move to Robin. Robin is not here. He's in hospital. He had a medical appointment, right at the very time of this event. So he sends his apologies. He's very sorry not to be here, and he's got some stuff for us. Yeah. So we have a couple of videos that are really interesting. He sent me 4, and he said, please select whatever you think is best. And I like all of them, but I had my preference for today. And I think they're very much related to things that Janet was referring to. The poems are in Poetry, Life and Times, which is the publication that he directs, and also in videos. And I'll play the video with the support of screen sharing, and hopefully you'll be able to see as well the lyrics or the text in writing in the video. So here's the first one that is called Strange Fruit.
strange fruit in the wet market, a vampire kiss, human blood, human meat, but save the economy, not the ecology. Surveillance, surveillance, surveillance. Monitor our sick brains and bury the remains in Silicon Valley. Like fallen caryatids, we bear our own epitaphs. The hours of the street endure their empathy with landscapes ordered from the abattoir. Exotic wildlife threatens humans. Cockroach traffic, cockroach computers, user-friendly, amplify and invade, degrade habitats. Population growth summons armament until Hislops burst through the green embedded fissures of our padded cells and the pavements crack beneath.
Okay, so that was the first poem by Robin, and the second one is called Wave. And I think it has a lot of resonances. I find a lot of themes in this poem very close to the things I like also for my own poems. Wave. Let's see, was it a good quality of sound? Was it loud enough? Yeah? Okay, we go with the second poem of Robin Ouzman Hislop, Wave.
I could be anything, counting the days. What matter the universe away, counting the days? How many breaths to fill a space where nobody's saved, that will bring the next moment on a wave, waving to a wave, counting the days. On the crest of a mania, one moment lost to the next, in an open grave. What matter the universe away? Count them all in on Noah's, counting the days. What matter the universe away? It's only in time you count the days. On a throw into oblivion, keep one step ahead of time, counting the days. I could be anything, counting the days. What matter the universe away, counting the days? How many breaths to fill a space where nobody's saved, that will bring the next moment on a wave, waving to a wave, counting the days. On the crest of a mania, one moment lost to the next, in an open grave. What matter the universe away? Count them all in on Noah's, counting the days. What matter the universe away? It's only in time you count the days. On a throw into oblivion, keep one step ahead of time, counting the days.
Okay, that was the second video. It puts all our human endeavors and struggles into perspective in the frame of universe and time, with all these images. So thank you, Robin. We hope you get better soon, and we'll see you on the 19th for our next event. So now we're going to move on and ask our friend Anne Rhodes to share some poems with us. Hello, Anne.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm all right, thank you. For today, I have got 4 short poems about the seasons of the year, basically. Springtime. Daisy petals sprinkle verges, white stars herald springtime. Golden centers, beauty lent us, white stars herald springtime. The daisies dance a little mime, they're so pleased to see us. The grass so green, their feet between, they're so pleased to see us. They delight as we make a fuss, each stands up like a queen. Plants courageous, they are gorgeous, each stands up like a queen. They are the best flowers I've seen, each little face merges, they dance a rhyme, keep perfect time, each little face merges. Sunshine. You are my sunshine, the old song goes, a story of love that battles all woes. The love of one person for another, be it a man, a woman, dad, or mother. The Sunshine Tour, on the other hand, is professional golf in another land. Men proving their skills in South Africa, whether Afrikaans or English is the lingua. There again, of course, there's a Sunshine Tour. For horse riders all over, it is the lure. Novice, amateur, unaffiliated, each class and each rank, they are all fated. On all of these falls the warmth of the sun, and pleasure in all the things they have done. Sunshine can bring light and joy to the world. In all its seasons, our happiness furled. There are places where the sun shines too hot, where things dry up rather than go to rot, where the time to go out when the sun has set. But we have more fun in our sunshine, I'll bet. We moan when we miss the soft sunshine cast on our bit of the world, be it small or vast. We feel so much better when the sun shines there. It lifts our spirits, makes the day more fair. Autumn. Crisp brown leaves crackle beneath my feet, a friendly hello to the few I meet. I breathe in the crisp but quite warm air, disturbed soil where rabbits have a lair. My eyes move constantly, checking the sights from down on the ground to treetop heights. Every ramble through these lovely trees brings sights and sounds that the heart would seize. Every shade of colour from green to brown, nature is wearing her loveliest crown. All hints of autumn in still falling leaves, each one falling a new pattern weaves. Autumn may mean the leaves will be gone, but winter means spring will be here anon. Autumn's beautiful colours and crispness bring joy and peace long before Christmas. Crunchy leaves and still green grass is beauty, makes walking a pleasure, not a duty. So daily when I can, I crunch my way on every glorious autumn day. Nature in the roar. The changing equator winds blow west. A dreadful influence puts the north on test. The jet stream forces north the wind and tide, forcing walls of water down the western side. Day after day, the coast is battered, leaving torn shoreline and prom all tattered. Inland, the flooded levels stretch for miles, waterborne rubble discarded in piles. Wind from the south joins with northern cold. Together their force gains a stronger hold. The land and those on it suffer somewhat, but they struggle onwards with all they've got. Those who live in the far distant isles, their normal boat rides made worse by miles. Cut off from humanity for weeks on end, in weather so foul their spirits might bend. From here to the pole, the weather gets worse, the sort of cold hard to show in verse. Not much further north from where we are, the land lies hidden under an icy bar. The polar vortex cripples New York State, US West and Canada share the same fate. Their frost and ice so cold it could kill, deep snow everywhere the eye does fill. Temperatures lower than few can recall, snow and ice sculptures everywhere so tall. Nature is showing its more cruel side. We must adjust and by its rules abide.
Thank you, thank you.
If I've got time, I've got one more that is
Yeah.
very up to now, right?
Okay.
Called Pandemic Problems. Trapped in a bubble of loving care, allowed to see no one from outside. Those within are friendly and helpful too, but four walls and same faces lose their shine. Pandemics are bad, bring fear to all. So shielding is important for those poor souls whose health is not quite at its best just now. So be sensible is the best way to cope. Can't go shopping or meet up with friends, avoiding those who might carry germs. So stay at home and keep occupied, knitting or crochet until fingers ache. Reading books, writing stories and poems, spending too much time on Facebook and such. Time passes, yes, but it drags on too. Dividing houseplants to give away. Listening to the numbers of those who've died, thinking of families who are left bereft. Proud of those who've had vaccinations, hoping that soon the pandemic will go. Science has done wonders with working out how to make drugs that will keep people safe. One day soon this pandemic will be part of our history and all gone away.
Wonderful. Always very educational, didactic. Is that a word in English? Didactic?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Very, very, very interesting. You like to talk about normal things with depth and you know, making them informative in verse. Yeah, and it's different to what I do, and it's very refreshing and very interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anne, for your wonderful contribution always.
That's a pleasure.
And yes, who is next? I think it's Ariel. Ariel, hola. Ariel, we can't hear you yet. Ahora sí.
Okay.
Oh,
I
hola.
think Samar should read her poems first in Persian, and then I'll read the translations in English.
Muy bien, as you wish. Can I say thank you again to you and to Samar for being there today, and for supporting all the things that we're doing together as well. Thank you. Okay, I'll let you decide what you want to do. Samar and Ariel, all yours.
We fought behind the scene, then he gave up and he decided me to go first. That's very kind of you. Thank you so much, Ariel. Oh, well, yeah, I have 2 poems to read today. I wanted to read the Portuguese translations of the poems that you helped me some time ago when we published it on this website run by my friend from Brazil. And it's very hard for me to read poems. It's just so difficult. It's like I'm not used to say I'm sad or I'm happy. So reading poems has always been very, very difficult for me. It's just I'm telling you directly what's going on. But I hope we both enjoy it.
This is the magic of translation. That I'm not a speaker of Portuguese, neither are you, and we translated the poem into Portuguese.
Divided it together, beautiful language. So
yeah.
the first one does not have a title. And originally, both poems are written in Farsi, and I translated them into English and Portuguese with your help. The first one, به موهایت محتاجم تا از زنجیری که دست جهالت به پاهایم بسته است رهایی یابم و به لبانت تا با بوسه‌ای هرچند کوچک از سکوتی که بر دهانم دوخته‌اند نغمه‌ای بسرایم. به دستهایت محتاجم که معنی نوازشم تا سیلی روزگار را تاب بیاورم در زمانه‌ای که زنده ماندن پذیرفتن حقارت است و مرگ دشنام. عشق من شعر سیاست است و سیاست شعر، آنجا که عشق و نان را در 2 کفه یک ترازو می‌گذارند تا گرسنگی را وزن کنند، در سرزمینی که دلال‌های دین حساب بانکیشان را با صرف‌ها پر می‌کنند، آنجا که خدا با چرتکه‌ای شکسته در دست چرت می‌زند، مرگ را نسیه می‌دهند نان اما نقد است. من فرزند مادرم نیستم. مادر من همه زنانی هستند که دختران سربریده می‌زایند، دخترانی که به دنیا نیامده دفن می‌شوند. پدر من همه مردانی هستند که برای جنگیدن به دنیا آمدند و سرود ملیشان بکش یا کشته می‌شوی است. برادران من از طعم زن محروم بودند و خواهرانم برای زیباییشان شلاق خوردند. خانواده من ایرانی است که دست جمعی قتل عام شده.
Okay, now I'll read the first poem in English. Wait a second. Okay. I am in need of your hair to free myself from the chain attached to my feet by the hands of ignorance, and in need of your lips, so with a kiss, though small, I compose a song from the silence they have stitched over my lips. I am in need of your hands. They give meaning to caressing, to bear the blows of life in an age when survival is the acceptance of inferiority and death is a humiliation. My love, to write poetry is to do politics, and the politics I do is writing poetry, where love and bread are put on 2 pans of a scale to measure the weight of hunger, in a country where the dealers of religion fill their bank accounts with zeros, where God with a broken abacus in his hands takes his news. Death is sold in installments, but bread is traded in cash. I am not the child of my mother, but the daughter of all women who deliver robotized girls, girls who even before birth are buried. My father are all men who are born to fight, whose national anthem is kill or get killed. My brothers have been deprived of the flavor of woman, and my sisters have been lashed for their beauty. My family, Iran, has been collectively massacred.
The second poem, again, is dedicated to the same person. This poem is written to, for, and about, I don't know. And the title is, in English, is I share you with all the women of the world. تو را با تمام زنان جهان قسمت می کنم. تو را با تمام زنان جهان قسمت می کنم، چرا که حق هر زنی است که گرمی آفتاب را با گندم انگشت‌هایش لمس کند، دقایق چشم‌هایش به عمق دریاها تن بسپارد و جمله‌های عاشقانه را به گوش بیاویزد و لبانش تیزی شمشیر را حس کند. انگشتانم را در موهای تو جا گذاشتم، الماس شعرهایم را از گوشهایت آویختم، نگاهم را به عریانیت دوختم برای روزی که تنت تندیس زیبایی به خلوت زن دیگری است، روزی که من در جستجوی قبله‌ای دیگر حرکت کرده باشم. عشق من، چشمهای تو استخوانهای مرا دیدن و در زیر ناخنهای تو پوست من، گوشت من برای همیشه باقی است. بیهوده میکوشی تاریخت را از نو بنویسی. بهترین شرابها قدیمی‌ترین شرابها هستند و بهترین عاشقان آنها تاریخشان را انکار نمی‌کنند. تو را با تمام زنان جهان قسمت می‌کنم، چرا که تو حقیقت منی در روزگاری که مرا انکار می‌کند و حقیقت من به سان هر حقیقت دیگری تنها با تقسیم شدن است که آزاد می‌شود، که جاودانه می‌شود. تو را با تمام زنان جهان قسمت می‌کنم، چرا که حق هر زنی است که حقیقت مرا بشناسد، که آزاد باشد.
Okay, now I'll read it in English. I share you with all the women of the world. I share you with all the women of the world, for it is right of every woman that the wheat of her fingers touches the warmth of the sun, and the boat of her eyes surrenders to the depth of the seas, and hangs on her ears affectionate sentences, and her lips feel the edge of the sword. I have left my fingers in your hair. I have hung the diamond of my poetry from your ears. I have stitched up my glimpse to your nakedness. For the day that your body is the status of beauty in the privacy of another woman, the day that I have left you in search for another Qibla. My love, your eyes have seen my bones, and under your nails my skin, my flesh forever remain. In vain you are trying to rewrite your history. The best of wines are the eldest wines, and the best lovers are those who do not deny their history. I share you with all the women of the world because you are my truth, in an era that denies me and my truth. Like any other truth, only when shared becomes free, becomes immortal. I share you with all the women of the world because it is the right of every woman to know my truth, to be free.
Fantástico. Muy bien.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much, Antonio, helping with the Portuguese and English translation. Thank you so much, Ariel, for reading the English version. After 14 years, I'm not still confident to speak.
Why do you
But I cannot read in English. I don't know what's the problem.
why do you send us a link so that we can put it in the Facebook page and also in our web page of yeah, I have seen it now. Thank you very much, Ariel. A link of these poems translated into Portuguese. Okay, so we'll publish it very soon in our Facebook page so that everybody can see not only the poems in Persian and English, but also the translations published in Portuguese. Well, thank you so much. Ariel and Samar, do you want to read anything else or say anything else?
No, that's it from me. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you.
Good.
Okay, well,
Thank you.
I'm going to now do a little bit of poetry myself, or rather a little bit of anti-poetry, and I'll explain why, the concept of anti-poetry. This is a poem, one of the poems of a series of poems that I wrote in April 2020, last year. And I wanted to give it an image, trying to look at how a virus poem would look like. And I read this poem. I read it before here. Originally it was published in black and white, but then I started to add colors. And it's important that I read it like this so that you can see how this evolved into something else. So I'll start now reading. I'm not one virus, but as many as bodies and cells I inhabit. You assume I cannot think nor feel for me and you. My sorrow is constant, like the song of the sailor who lost the compass and relies on fate to reach another island, hopping through, breaking in. I do not want to kill you, honestly, but sometimes things go wrong. We are damaged goods looking at each other in the eye like in a duel, just separated by your protective glasses and mask. Nature against nature, it will always be a draw. So this poem evolved into something else that I'm going to share now with you. And I've been thinking how this came about, and perhaps it's my own rebellion against poetry and against the seriousness and depth of poetry. That's one interpretation, but I wanted to do something playful and also political, and put poetry in perspective. So some of you may have seen it. It's called Interviewing COVID-19. And if you're not familiar with UK media, I try to kind of follow the pattern of this famous journalist called Andrew Neil. I pretend to be him. He's been involved in a right-wing TV channel that has been taken over by a disgusting character, Nigel Farage. And I thought it would be a good idea to pretend a little bit to be him to make it more fun. So here is my interview to COVID-19. Good evening. Welcome to this edition of the News from Beyond here at the FBC. This is Neil Andrews. We have a very special guest tonight. Mind you, you may argue that all my guests are very special. Well, some commentators claim that our guest today is the best known historical character after Jesus Christ. Good evening, Mr. COVID-19, and thank you for joining us here. Mr. COVID, your public life has been marred by controversy. The other day, in a rival news channel, you even stated, and I quote, "I am not a virus." Can you explain that? I am not one virus, but as many as bodies and cells I inhabit. Well, I can see you are resorting to visual poetry. Don't you think that after all the chaos and terrible death toll you have inflicted on us, the public is not in the mood for your poetry? You assume I cannot think nor feel for me and you. I'm not making any assumptions, Mr. COVID. You are the one who has chosen poetry here, not me. Don't you feel, let's talk about what matters, don't you feel sorry about all this? If you have any feelings, you must feel pretty low at the moment. My sorrow is constant, like the song of the sailor who lost the compass and relies on fate to reach another island, hopping through, breaking in. Well, another question without proper answer. We're giving you the opportunity here, Mr. Covey, to come clean on the accusations that you are pretty terrible and soulless. So I wouldn't waste that opportunity. I need to ask you a very important question, a yes or no question. I'm here wearing all sort of protective equipment, etc.
Would you try to send me a jab-resistant variant and basically try to kill me if I wasn't so protected? I do not want to kill you, honestly, but sometimes things go wrong. Okay, okay, I accept that as a sign of goodwill, Mr. COVID, but I'm not taking off the mask in this studio until the end of the interview. We have some questions from our listeners, yeah, through Twitter actually, and this is Amanda from Devon. Let's see what Amanda has to say. I think your channel is disgusting. By giving a platform to a remorseless criminal, you are putting this virus at the same level as the victims. You can't talk to terrorists. Well, Mr. COVID, I think you want to say something about this, don't you? We are damaged goods, looking at each other in the eye, like in a duel, just separated by your protective glasses and mask. Well, never mind. Let's see, for the sake of balance, we're going to ask you a more friendly question from another person in our audience through Twitter as well. This is from Mike in Leeds. Vaccines are closing down on you. Do you think it is time to call a ceasefire and accept a dialogue with the authorities? That way, you may be able to avoid an embarrassing defeat. Nature against nature. It will always be a draw. Mr. COVID, excuse me. Please don't leave the studio. This is not a good end to this interview. Mr. COVID. Well, I think we have to leave it there. And now, in this space within our program, sponsored by the UK government, we will have a conversation with Sir Adolf Farage, the spiritual leader and healer of the English Church of Brexit, who is joining us today from the Cayman Islands. Sir Farage, how are you? Enjoying the weather?
Okay, so that's the anti-poetry, the anti-poetry, or the putting poetry into perspective video. And another thank you, Anne. Another video poem, although I don't think this is really a poem, but you know that sometimes all these poems I write about the universe and time and destiny and human existence and our insignificance, etc. Sometimes it can get very somber. So again, I wanted to rebel myself against that, and I made this other video that some of you may have seen called Voyage, and I got it in Spanish and in English. Yeah, I'm going to play it as well. So it's called Voyage. And this one, I will put it in English first and then in Spanish, and then we'll finish, okay? So let me see if I can play Voyage. I think so. Okay, here we go, Voyage.
Greetings, siblings of the world. This is Tony, your flight assistant and prophet for today. Welcome to the end of planet Earth as we know it. The big mass of rock with water that we inhabited for thousands of years is about to be transferred to another galaxy. Unfortunately, this is a rather perilous voyage. But those of you who have been good shall be spared from any damage. And what are the flying conditions for this adventure we're about to embark upon? Well, according to the optics of cosmical statistics and the Weather Algorithmic Authority, we shall have no trouble. Please ensure that you have located all your molecules of H2O in the designated compartment above you. And remember, during this journey, You will remain deposited inside your containers until full recomposition is successfully completed in our lavish destination. And now, heads up! The hologram of our savior and patron is about to be projected on your virtual reality subatomic network. Let us pray. Each of you, whatever you want, it doesn't matter. Our captain is ready to take off. Woo! See you at the other end!
That's the voyage for you. And now I'll play it in Spanish. I'm also planning to do the interview to COVID. I got it in Spanish, but I didn't like it that much. So I unpublished it in YouTube. And now I got a new text for the interview of COVID. But the voyage in Spanish, el viaje, I think it came out okay. So you can hear me saying similar things, but in Spanish, and I'll play with subtitles. Here it is, the voyage, el viaje in Spanish. And that will be everything for today. There you go.
Saludos a toda la gente maravillosa de nuestro querido mundo. Soy Tony, vuestro auxiliar.
Oops, sorry.
Saludos a toda la gente maravillosa de nuestro querido mundo. Soy Tony, vuestro auxiliar de vuelo y profeta en este día de hoy. Bienvenidos al fin del planeta Tierra. Esta masa rocosa cubierta de agua que hemos habitado durante miles de años está a punto de ser transferida a otra galaxia. Por desgracia, este es un viaje de alto riesgo, pero quienes hayáis sido buenas personas, estaréis libres de todo percance. ¡Perdonados! ¿Y cuáles son las condiciones de vuelo que nos encontraremos en esta aventura colectiva? Pues bien, según la Oficina de Estadísticas Cósmicas y el Departamento de Algoritmos Climáticos, no tenemos que preocuparnos de nada. Por favor, aseguraos de que todas vuestras moléculas de H2O están bien guardaditas arriba en el compartimento designado. Y recordad, deberéis permanecer estables dentro de vuestros contenedores durante el transcurso de esta migración hasta que lleguemos a nuestro lujoso destino, donde se procederá a vuestra recomposición material completa. Y ahora, alcemos la mirada. El holograma de nuestro salvador y sponsor se va a proyectar en vuestra red subatómica de realidad virtual. Oremos, todos y cada uno de nosotros. Cualquier cosa que os apetezca, no importa. ¿Sí? ¿Sí? ¡Nuestra comandante está lista para el despegue! ¡Woo! ¡Nos vemos al otro lado del túnel!
Well, I'll see you at the other end of the tunnel, as he says in the video. Thank you so much for being there tonight. And yeah, this was Transforming with Poetry, the first one that we had in the year, in this academic year, shall we say. And I look forward to seeing all of you in our next events. And yes, keep in contact. Remember that we have our Facebook page with more events advertised, the founding translation event on the 8th, which you need to register for. It's all in Facebook. And the intercultured, is it called intercultured? Samar? Intercultured event on the 30th, which has a lineup already of poets. It's been organized by our colleagues in Bradford who run this annual festival. And we'll be back with an evening like this on the 19th of November. Okay, so thank you very much, everybody. And I'll see you at the other end of the tunnel. Bye.
Bye. Thank you,
Bye.
Tony.
Thank you.
Going.